Hi, and welcome to the Passion Project. I'm your host, Coach Richard Bacon. And boy, you know I love champions. Got me another one here today. Got me some more gold up in here. And I have my man, Coach Farron Douglas of the Lancaster Tigers. And I'm going to have Farron introduce himself and talk a little bit about him and his family.
How you doing, Coach?
Good, man.
Farron Douglas, Lancaster High School. I'm married, been married now for 25 years. Got a daughter. She's in law school, TSU. That's a big deal.
Law school.
And I got little law school. She's struggling right now, but she's doing good. It's tough on her, but she's doing good right now.
Give her that advice my mom gave me when I called her complaining about how tough it was. You'll be all right.
Yeah, that's all I can tell her. You'll be all right.
Just say you'll be all right.
And I got two boys. I got Cade Douglas. He's a freshman this year at UTA Arlington. Played a lot this year for him. And I got my other son. He's a sophomore for me. You know, he was part of the state championship team, a big part of what we did this year. So I'm proud of him as well. So
Cade plays basketball too.
Yeah, Colin. Cade is the one at UTA. He graduated last year from me, and Colin is a sophomore this year.
Gotcha.
He played for me this year. Was a big part again what we got going with this state championship this year.
Okay, good to hear.
He can shoot it.
With
he can shoot
Colin?
it. Yeah, he can shoot it. Both of them can shoot it. But we always have a debate at the house who's the better shooter.
Between the three of you or just them two?
Well, it's just them two, and they always come and ask me, you know, and I say numbers don't lie. You know, I think Colin, I think this year, I think he had led the team with I think it was 83s, you know, so.
As a sophomore?
As a sophomore. Yeah, he can shoot it.
On a state championship team?
On a state championship team, yeah.
Okay.
And he was also sophomore of the year, too, so.
Okay, yeah, let's get him a shine, man.
Yeah.
Shine, for sure. Don't sell him short. All right, Coach, so let me start with this one. Do you remember the first time we ever met?
I do.
Okay.
I do. It's a couple of times. Okay. It's probably a time that you don't remember.
Okay, talk to us, Coach.
I was a high school senior. You was at Lincoln at the time. And the first time we played y'all, I think y'all only beat us by 2 points. 2 points.
Right.
And I believe it was at Cobb, you know, and I went to Adamson. So Coach Allen used to talk all the time about you. I don't know what the relationship was.
Same neighborhood, same high school. He played with my brother.
Oh, okay.
So we had a long history. He's
Right.
from West Dallas, just like I was. And actually, growing up, he's the guy I idolized.
Right.
Robert Allen.
Right.
Because we called him Chess.
Yeah.
He was a bad boy. On that note, and I'm going to let you go back to what you were talking about, but on that note, I was with my brother this past weekend, and he told me something that I didn't know. He said that Robert had two brothers older than him, and one of them they called World, and he was twice as good as Robert. I said, well, he couldn't have been, because I don't know him, because Robert was the man. Man. Yes, sir.
He let us know all the time. But that was the first time, and then I think the next time we played y'all, it was a tight game, and I don't know what you did. I think you called a timeout and talked to you guys, man, and I think y'all ended up beating us by 30.
Yeah.
It was that quick, but I think you went on to win the state championship that year.
You're right.
And that was big, because at the time they was only taking 2 teams out, and it was just us in Lincoln. It was you. Mm-hmm. And you went down and y'all won the state championship, but that was the first time. And the second time I think, you know, we kind of met was I was coaching your daughter at Lancaster, Rochelle.
Right. Yeah, Rochelle.
But I was kind of always kept up with you, idolized you, because you was a young coach at the time at Lincoln and winning, you know. Mm-hmm. And I was like, wow, that was amazing, because all the other coaches I seen was older guys, but you was a young guy. Lincoln come in, a lot of energy. Kids definitely related to you. And I was like, man, I wish I could have played for him, you know. But anyway, I think the second time I coached your daughter, Rochelle, and she was a beast.
Yeah,
know?
she could
play.
play.
I know you used to come to the games all the time, and I believe one time you asked me, did I want to work at camp?
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's where I kind of fell in love with coaching and kind of seeing your path. Kind of wanted to do your path. You know, I still do. I still want to coach college. that's tough coming from high school.
Yes.
But anyway, I kind of just idolize your path and what you did. So those are the two times. You know?
Right. And what I tell people a lot of times, when you have a story, it could be two sides to the story, or how everybody perceived it.
Right.
And I do remember, and I'm gonna tell you a little background on that second game.
Right.
That first game, we barely won that first game against you guys.
Right.
Because y'all were really good too.
We was really good. We really
y'all
was.
were really good. Y'all had, but you wasn't as deep as we were. I think that was the difference.
That was the difference.
Because y'all first five could play with anybody.
Right.
For sure.
Right.
But that second game, this might jog your memory. We didn't have Willie Black, which was our best player, because he had an appendicitis.
Right.
After we played Seagoville. Man, we came back from the Seagoville game, and Willie was one of those guys I always try to make sure I was good. Mm-hmm. So he come back. I'm still in the office. We dropped off everybody gone home. And Willie's still in the locker room. I go in there, and I said, man, what you still doing? And he was laying across the bench. And I'm like, what's wrong, man? He said, man, something behind my stomach is hurting, coach.
Wow.
I said, man, you probably got to go to the bathroom.
Right.
I said, when you get home, tell your mama what's up. She'll give you a little something. You'll be fine in the morning, right?
Right.
And I said, but still, why you here? He said, coach, I just want to make sure you good. I said, well, look, man, I'm going to give you a ride home. Mm-hmm. So I take Willie home. About 5:30 that morning, I get a call saying Willie is in emergency. He's going to have to, his appendix is about to rupture. And I went to the school first, told the principal, said, hey, this is what's going on with Black. Mm-hmm. I'm going to the hospital. And he told me, go to the hospital. Right. They got me a sub and all that stuff. And I was real concerned about playing y'all, because we only beat you by 2 with Black.
Right.
How am I going to win this game without Black?
Right.
And Larry Thomas, man,
he
just went
crazy.
off.
Yeah, he went crazy.
Yeah,
he did. And I think you like you say, your bench guys. I know you had a couple of guys who can really jump. I think a couple of alley-oop plays. Man,
Cedric Collins.
Yeah, they kind of set the tone a little bit. Yeah. But you had a great group.
Yeah, it was. It was good enough to win the state. Yeah, that was a good. That was a good. But we're not here to talk about me.
Okay.
We're here to talk about you. But I did want the audience to know that this ain't no by chance encounter here. This is somebody that followed me, and now I've followed him. And
yes, sir.
You want to follow my path? I want to get back on the road and follow yours, because you got. Wait a minute. Let me say it real slow. You got 4.
3 we played for, though, Coach. 3 we actually played for. The fourth one was kind of really like the COVID with Mike Miles and Wade Taylor. I think we really had a chance. We was #1 team in the state at the time in 2020. We getting ready to win it. I feel like, because we had Mike Miles, played for TCU, went on to the league, got Wade Taylor. Everybody know Wade Taylor now at A&M. SEC Player of the Year. We had those 2 guys on the same team, Coach, and I just don't think nobody can beat us. And UIL, they thought the same, because at the end of the rankings or whatever, UIL named us top team in 2020. So, but what they did was they gave each team in 5A, they awarded them a state championship trophy. So that's where the 4th one come in, but. You know, I take it because we was #1.
You earned it, Coach,
yeah,
all year long.
Yeah, all year long. I think we had the best team, and UIL they knew it too. So they named us top team in 2020. So
those other 3 schools were happy that they didn't have to play.
Yeah.
So now they can say the same.
Yeah, they can say the same, but that was a crazy time, though, man.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, it was.
Coaching had to change.
Yeah.
Where you held practices had to change.
Yeah. And
sit down on the bench, couldn't sit next to each other.
Yeah, it was crazy, man, and have to wear a mask. Man, I got a crazy story about the mask, So the next year in 2021, they let us play, but we had to have masks. And we scrimmaged in Duncanville at the time. First time out, we scrimmaged in Duncanville, and, they got the power squad too, man. Ron Hollins and the rest of the crew, know. And I had my mask on, man. Shoot, about 30 points down, man. I ain't know what that mask was, Coach. That mask went off, man. I'm coaching, man. I looked down, man. The kids done stepped all on it, man, and everything. But that was a funny thing about the mask. So what happened was, my wife said, you got to keep that mask on. So what I did was, she bought me a lanyard. Mm-hmm. So the lanyard kept my mask on. So if I had to say something or pull it down, I just don't chunk it off, or I'm in the game. It'll stay right here, so I can just kind of pull it back
like
up.
Glasses.
Yeah, like glasses. That's what it was.
So, speaking on the mask thing, what I did was I got tired of doing that like you, so I got the face shield.
I tried that, Coach.
And you didn't like the face shield?
Man, because I had spit all over. I couldn't do the face shield, Coach.
Yeah, I ended up not doing anything.
Right.
Like you probably did eventually.
Right.
Yeah, so, but anyway, yeah, that's some good stuff, man. That's some real good stuff. Tell me some of the other places you've coached at. Coach, take me back to when Farron first became a coach, where he started, to how he got to Lancaster.
Wow. Man, when I first graduated, I started at Lancaster.
Okay.
Yeah, where I'm at now. I started at Lancaster. I was the ISS teacher, and I was the girls track coach, assistant track coach under Beverly Humphrey, and I was the assistant girls basketball coach under Phil Hale.
Right.
And I did that for 2 years, and then I switched to the boys side for his freshman basketball under Joe Russian, but I was still Coach Humphrey's assistant with girls track.
Gotcha.
And so I did that for 4 hours. So long story short, I was at Lancaster for 4 years, and then went to your camp. You invited me to your camp to work your camp, and you invited Coach Bishop, Leonard Bishop.
Yes.
He's a longtime friend of yours.
Yes.
Coached with you as well at Seagoville.
Right.
And he was the head coach at Seagoville at the time. And long story short again, Coach Bishop told me as we was working the camp, he said, "Hey, Coach, I'm up for the job at Lincoln, man. I got to leave today." It was a Thursday. He said, "I got to leave today early because I got an interview." And I was like, "Wow, you got an interview?" I say, "Coach, at the time, Lincoln was a school.
Of course.
I mean, something you built anyway, but anyway, it was, and I was like, wow, I just threw it out there. I say, "Coach, if you get the job, man, I want to go with you." You know what I mean?
Okay.
And he was like, "You know how Coach Bishop is." He said,
Yeah.
"Okay." So the next day, that Friday, he comes back. He tells me he got the job. And I was like, because when I went home, I was like, Coach Bishop not going to get that job, man. He ain't going to get that job. But he got the job. And he said, "Coach, I got the job. If you want to come with me, you can come." And I was like, wow. So I got on the phone, man. I called my dad, told him, I said, "Dad, I just got off with an assistant coaching job at Lincoln." And at the time, it wasn't 12 coaches, 13 coaches on the bench. It was the head coach and the assistant coach. That's all I was on. So that was major, you know what I'm saying?
It was.
So I went to Lincoln with Coach Bishop, and not knowing what type of talent we was going to have.
Right.
And not knowing, and man, when I stepped on that campus, man, it was unbelievable. I've never seen that much talent in my life. I mean, it was like basketball heaven, man.
Yes.
You had Leonard Hopkins, Brian Hopkins, Chris Bosh. Chris Bosh he was a sophomore at the time. I mean, the list can go on. Danny Allen,
Danny Allen.
And so what happened was Coach Bishop said, "Coach, I know you're coming from a defensive school. I've seen you coach or whatever on the freshman level. I want you to come in and be the defensive coordinator for me. I run the offense or whatever at the time. I was like, defensive coordinator, okay." He wanted me to come in and kind of run the defense for him. And what I did was I brought the defense that I learned coaching Rochelle, your daughter, with Phil Hale.
Okay.
Which we called Thumbs Up 21.
Okay.
It was basically the 1-2-2 half court trap back to a 1-2-2 matchup zone, and we won with that. We went 30-31-1 with your daughter.
Yeah, when she was a freshman.
Yeah, when she was a freshman.
Right.
And what I did was I kind of studied Coach Hale, and I kind of mastered that defense because it's a language you got to have with it too, and you got to have a feel when to call it, when to do what. You could trap out of it. So I learned that. And so what I did was I brought that to Lincoln. You know what I mean?
And that's why I had trouble when we played y'all when I was at Richland.
Right. So when I kind of introduced that, I Coach Bishop, he know all type of defenses, But I think I introduced that thumbs up 21, what we actually ran. I introduced that to him, and we kind of tweaked it a little bit. We kind of put our little twist to it together.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying? But just the idea of running that style defense, I brought that over, and man,
I don't think people understand how much knowledge a coach has, because with the more talent you have.
Right.
And Leonard told me this a long time ago, and I still quote him on this. I said, Coach Bishop, when we went to state at Seagoville in 1985, we had 7 kids that could play.
Right.
And I said, Coach, what would we do if we had more talent? You know what his answer was? We'll work even harder.
Yes.
So that defense that you understood, when you got with some more dudes, you turned that. You said, well, man, I can do this to them. Yeah, Coach.
And so we turned that defense in, man, and what it did was, man, it won us a national championship. We was in the regional finals the year before, lost to Madison, the great Madison team.
I was at that game.
Yeah.
At Lowe Stadium, packed, nowhere to sit. People sat in the steps.
Yes.
To make seats.
I don't know why it was a fire.
If you looked up there, you couldn't see a way to walk up the steps because everybody was sitting in the steps. Yeah, the fire marshal should have shut that down.
Right.
Because they let them in, man. It was packed.
Yeah, but that defense right there carried us, so won a national championship with it. Years later with Byron Eaton, we went back to state. We lost at the buzzer to Houston Jones.
Man, that was crazy.
Yeah, it was tough. I think we supposed to won it that year too in 05. And then I carried it on over to my first head coaching job at Madison. That was my first head coaching job after spending 7 years at Lincoln. And I just spent 1 year in Madison. 1 year.
A lot of people don't remember that. That's one of the reasons why I want you to bring it up. Tell us your history, because a lot of people probably would argue me down if I said Farron was a head coach at Madison for a year.
Right. I was a head coach. That was my first job, man. And I promise, man, I love that. I love that situation. I love that school. I love the kids. We was young at the time, had some talent. I think I took that defensive system, offensive system that I definitely picked up with Coach Bishop. And I took that over to Madison, went to playoffs my first year. Still young, made some mistakes in the playoffs. We didn't do that well, but I guess that summer I got a call from Beverly Humphrey. She reached back out. She was the athletic director now at Lancaster, and she said, Coach, I'm the AD now. It's a job opening. Do you want it? And I said, nah, I'm happy where I'm at, Coach. I got a great group. Right. I'm gonna go ahead and stay. She said, well, okay, Coach, I just had to reach out to you. 2 weeks later, she calls back, and I'm outside mowing the yard. And so my wife steps out. She say, Coach Humphrey on the phone. And I was like, and so I got on the phone, cut the mow off, got on the phone. She was like, Farron, what are you doing? I say, mowing the yard. She say, how fast can you get up here? That's no question. How fast can you get up here?
Right.
And I was like, Coach, can you give me about an hour so I can shower up? She was like, good. She just hung up. She didn't give me nothing or whatever. And so I got on the phone, man. I showered up, and I was like, man, let me throw on a suit, because at the time that's what we did. These days they wearing collar shirts and whatever, but you throw suits on. So I went on, threw on a suit, but I knew she was gonna be asking me for the job, but I still wasn't leaving. I was gonna stay at Madison. I mean, that's just where I wanted to be. But anyway, I go to Lancaster, and she's aggressive. Boom, she jumped me on the golf cart. Brand new school at the time, 1 year old. Jumped me on the golf cart. I'm like, wow, coming from South Dallas, 8 years in, golf cart, so I'm on the golf cart, Coach. I'm riding around. She driving me around like I'm Nick Saban or somebody. I'm waving at people, man. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And she already a legend there, so you know, got me on there. Everybody, you know, I'm waving. I'm like, she really just gassing me up even more. You know, she drive me to the new indoor. I'm like, indoor facility. You know, they got the turf, and I'm like, man. She drive me around that, and she take me to the gym. She don't take me to the Coliseum first. She take me to the weight room. We got our own weight room, coach. At Madison, coach, we living in the bathroom. You know, you know, we living sideways because of the drain right there, and it's unstable. You know, I'm looking at all this. So she take me to our own weight room, coach, and then she take me in. She showed me my office. My office, coach, is brand new. Restroom, shower, I mean, my own area, you know? So, I mean, and then carpet, brand new carpet, man. You know, you got a TV up there. I'm like, wow. So, and then she takes me to the competition gym and the practice gym. Coach, it's 4 floors. And I'm like, God, you know, but I'm still in my mind, I ain't going, I'm staying there. You know,
you staying in the drain?
Yeah, and I'm staying in Madison, you know. Man, she walks me into the Coliseum, coach. Brand new, seat, 6,000 people. And we still to this day got the nicest, I feel like nicest high school arena around the area. And she walked me in that gym, man, and I look around, man. And I say, Coach, when you gonna let me know if I got the job or not? She just started laughing. She said, I'll let you know.
Right.
You know, and that next morning she called me. She said, Farron, you got the job.
Wow.
You know, but that was the hardest thing ever. It was to go back and, you know, and tell the kids, you know,
right.
I was going to leave, but at that time, Coach, I had to. You know, the suburbs, you know, it was predominantly white coaches. You know, white coach. You had Milson, you had Dyer at DeSoto. Milson was at Cedar Hill.
Right.
You had Neely at Duncanville.
Right.
You know, and they wasn't. I feel like I had to pave the way. You know, young black coach getting a suburb job. You know, so I had to go on and jump out there and get it. I was 35 when I got the job in Lancaster. So, and now it's in my 17th year there, but. It was hard, but it was hard, and so I had to go sit down and talk to Miriam Willard. So I don't know if you know Miss Willard.
That's the principal at Madison.
And she was my school teacher at Adamson.
Okay.
And I sat down, and I say, Miss Willard, I'm gonna go over and go to Lancaster, you know. And I'm scared, you know, I'm scared of her anyway, especially when she dropped them glasses down and she looked at me and I was like, It was a hard decision. She said, it wasn't that hard, you leaving. And so she was, you know, that was my teacher. She loved me, I loved her, and she kind of understood the opportunity, you know, and she let me go. But she didn't let my assistant go as easy, but he got there, Mayberry. But that was it. So I went on and went to Lancaster, and then, you know, rest is history so far.
Boy, that's kind of crazy. As you had mentioned, you were wanting to follow my path. You, believe it or not, you did in a lot of ways, because when I was at Richland, when they built the new school with the new facilities and all of that stuff, I was trying to leave to try to get to Duncanville.
Right.
And my principal came to me. And she said, I don't know whether school was the beginning of the school. She said, I don't know whether to hug you or kick you.
Right.
I'm like, what you talking about? She said, I hear you trying to go to Duncanville.
Right.
I'm like, well, you know, I had to apply for the job. I mean, a job like Duncanville, who's going to pass on that, right?
Right.
So I do understand exactly what you're talking about when it comes to having to face that principal. And see, Carla and I were co-workers because she used to be in the science department, and then she eventually elevated to the principal spot. Right. So we went way back, you know, because I stayed at Richland for 23 years. But anyway, tell me what this WEBO, man. I see it. I see WEBO. I say, man, ain't no L's and T's. What is WEBO? Ain't no Lancaster Road in there, no Tigers. What does that WEBO stand for? Man, tell me about it.
WEBO, it means we believe in orange or we bleed orange.
Okay.
Yeah, it's one of the two. We believe in orange was basically, it's a battle cry that we definitely use, to kind of get the crowd pumped up, get the guys pumped up. But if you ever come to a football game, it's crazy.
Oh, okay.
I mean, that crowd get to yelling WEBO, man. That turn the football team up, the band get to playing and stuff like that. But it's pretty much our battle cry. When we need some energy, or we pretty much handled the game, and the fans start saying WEBO. So it's basically we bleed orange, or we believe in orange.
Gotcha. Man, it's amazing how, and I tell people, you need to attach yourself to things or people who are successful, because there's something to it. Yeah. If you find out that a lot of people are doing the same thing, that's why they might be successful.
Right.
Instead of knocking somebody that's successful. I'm going to give you an example. So you talked about the WEBO being a battle cry. I had Arlington Martin's state championship wrestling team on the show this past Monday. And the coach gave me a little tidbit about a ritual that they do at the beginning of the season, during the season, state championships. Because this guy has come runner-up in 11 state championships. Wow. But he's been to 17.
17, wow.
17 state champions. I told him, I said, do you have an agent? I need to, I might be able to hook you up with a college job or something.
Right.
But anyway, we were talking about a battle cry, as you were saying. And he said the ritual that they did was something that they took from, I can't remember what era it was. It might have been the Spartans or something. But he said what they would do, they would go wherever they're going to have a battle, and when they get off the ships, they burn the ships. He said because it was one or two things going to happen. We either going to win, or we going to die trying. I said, wow.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah.
I said, I wish I'd have known that when I was coaching, because look, one or two, we either going to win,
or we going to die trying.
Because we ain't going to need these ships.
Right.
So what he did with his team was, he said they would have a little thing where they have like a s'mores thing they doing over fire, and then they would all write down all their fears.
Right.
And like when they finish writing down all their fears, they gather all their fears, put them in the fire, and burn them.
Wow.
Because there's only one or two things going to happen. We're going to win,
or we're going to die
trying. We're going to die trying.
Wow.
That's awesome. And I told him, I said, if people watch this show, Coach is going to use what you just said.
I'm definitely going to.
I said, and I texted him this morning. I asked him, what did you call it? He said, burning of the boats or burning of the ships. That's what he called it.
Right. So
burning
you just pretty much burning your doubts and all that
stuff.
Yeah,
so that's gone.
That out the way.
And then on another sheet of paper, they have all the things that they know they do well.
Right.
And so at the state meet, when they get a little down on themselves, he said, well, go grab that list. Because you already burnt all the fears away. Because he said the fears are not even real to begin with.
Right. That's right.
And I said, you know what? This is the beauty of coaching. Back in the day, everybody was real secretive, off to themselves. Yeah. They never shared nothing.
Right.
Now, you find more coaches sharing information and all that. Because on the X's and O's side, I think the average coaches have caught up to the really good coaches on the X's and O's.
That's right.
So now you got to have that little extra.
It's the extra.
It's that little extra.
It's definitely the extra.
Yeah. And as I said, like I say all the time, at DeSoto, we always said the little things are the big things.
Right.
And man, I just had to share that.
Hey, I'm glad
I just had to share that story with you, man.
I need that. That's something like a Phil Jackson type deal, though.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, Phil
Very
Jackson.
philosophical.
Yeah. And what we do, I'm gonna share it. What I do with my guys, I kind of got it from Phil Jackson. I don't think Michael Jordan, he didn't really grasp on it to it first, but we call it lights out.
Okay.
Yeah. So before a game, what we do, 10 by 10 minutes, man, we just turn the lights out. No music, no devices, no phones, no music. You just close your eyes for 10 minutes and you just meditate, You just kind of meditate the game plan pretty much. What I did, I just kind of meditate and I just reassured myself, coach, just kind of like a little prayer to myself, confirmation, you can do it, you work this, you worked hard.
You've already worked, yeah.
Yeah, make sure that, I've asked a prayer, make sure, I'm able to, make the right adjustments and, and stuff like that, and just kind of really just run the game through my head, and it works.
And you know what's crazy about what you just said? That's why I always use this term, everything is relative. Last night I watched my show with the Martin wrestler, and you know how when the YouTube go off, it'll kick on another one?
Right.
It kicked on Shaq doing
Right.
an interview. And in that interview, Shaq talked about the 10 minutes with Phil Jackson turning the lights off.
Right.
He said sometimes he do it before practice to get everybody right. And it took me back to when I was in grad school studying for my master's. I was already coaching and teaching, and so I was still working on my master's. And we used to have it was a night class, and we all had to drive over to Parkland Hospital because TWU was doing some of their classes out of Parkland Hospital. Right. And when we got in there, every day we got there, he would turn the lights off and say, for 5 minutes, I need y'all to come down. He said, because y'all been in traffic.
Right.
You done did this, you done had a hard day.
Right.
I need you to reset.
Reset. That's what it is.
And it's
Coach.
amazing how
that's
what we did then. This what Phil and them doing. This what you doing. It's something to
There's
this,
something
man.
to it. I'm telling you, because what happened is, man, when we did that, Coach, the guys come out a little bit more sharper, focused, because I know, like you said, 16, 17-year-old kids, that's a lot of pressure on them, man, to win. You got your family, you got your schoolmates, you got, the social media now on you. You got to win, you this, you that. So,
boy that you playing against and posted something.
Yes. So
I had a show where I had Yumika Wright on, which is a mental health therapist, and she talked about that. And she talked about mental health days and stuff like and my daughter, for example, at her college, they have days where they just call mental health days. You don't go to class, you don't go to practice.
Right.
Everybody reset.
Right. You got to reset.
Because mental health is real.
It's real. It's real, Coach. It really is.
And she said
for coaches too.
Yeah, and that's the part that I tried to focus on when I was at DeSoto. I told, because my coaches were crying. After the game, we up there watching film until 2 o'clock in the morning. I told them, say, man, go home.
Go home. Yeah.
We can do this tomorrow.
Right.
Everybody need to reset.
Reset.
So, man, good. I think I had this question on there. I was going to ask you about the 4 titles, but you kind of explained that already. But see if you can take me through this. You got 4. Which one came about the easiest for you think, or were they all tough? Because I know it's tough. And a lot of times that road to get there is tougher than the state itself.
Right.
Which one was the one that was really, really tough for you? Can you remember, or was any of them?
I think the 2015 was, because that would be my first one. So you're talking about the things, what you're talking about, staying up late, tired, you got the team. We had Elijah Thomas, Nate Morris, Antoine Porter. We had a squad, and when you got squads like that, it's a cycle. You got to win in that cycle, or it may not come back around at all.
Right. So
especially your first one.
Yeah.
So I think that first one was the toughest one. Even though we had a great team, I think that was the hardest one for me, because I've never been there as a head coach and wanted to win my first one. But you'll probably never remember this, but I remember after we winning it, I'm walking off the floor and you yell, "Welcome to the club."
Yes, I did. How about I was about to remind you of that?
Yeah,
I was going to see if you remember.
Yeah.
And then when you got the second one, I came down and said something too. I said, now you set yourself apart.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
yes,
you
sir.
set yourself apart. Now
yes,
you
sir.
ain't just got one.
Yeah.
Which was hard to do. But now you're in a different class when you go to 2. And I thought I had done something winning 2, but you 2 times me now.
Yeah, that second one, Coach, it was really crazy, man. It was like a blur. It's like I really never really remembered that season, because we were still on the high from the first one. We had a good group coming back, but winning another one wasn't in my mind, because I'm still out. That's my first one, winning that first one, so you know how it is.
Yeah,
so you got to do this, and then you go off into the season. And man, by the time, Coach, we got to the third round, I mean, it was a tough game against Lake Ridge. They pushed us to the wire. But after we won the regionals, I was like, man, we can possibly win this thing again, you know?
Right.
And we did it, Coach, and it was unbelievable, man. It was a blur, but we did it.
Have you ever sat back and thought about all the lives you've touched?
Coach,
because you could kind of get caught up with what's going on because you getting ready for next year to try to do it again.
Right.
And not that you forget, but have you ever just thought about it?
No, well, at times, you know, when you get text messages and you see former kids they come to your games or come back and they tell you and they remember the stuff that you told them and they living through it. They got families now because I got a big saying, you know, win in life, you know, and I learned that from Coach Bishop, you know, so I kind of carried it over to my program. But that's what I want them to do is win in life. I say basketball, that ball gonna stop bouncing, you know, sooner than later. So, you know, you're going to have families, you're going to have jobs, you're going to have to be able to take care of yourself. I just want you to be a winner in life. So I have tons of kids come back, man. You know, we got a prayer that we use also that it's called a prayer of Jabez. And we say that prayer after the Lord's Prayer. You know, we say that. I mean, I've been doing that since we first started at Lancaster. Coach Mayberry brought it up. So, and it's pretty much the prayer of Jabez is enlarging your territory. You know, that's the basis of it, you know. And these, you know, guys, man, they got it tattooed on their body. You know, they got it on their legs. I'm talking about multiple athletes, you know, because that prayer seemed like it, I mean, it does. It helps you, you know, because I tell them, if you say this prayer, and we say this prayer all year, look how your territory has been enlarged. And then, like this year, you know, we say the prayer the whole year, and I just ask the kids, I say, you don't have to say nothing, but how has your territory been enlarged? It can be enlarged through basketball, your family, you know, something going on in your life where your territory has been enlarged. And so this state championship right here, man, you know, that's a testament to it. I don't think we really had the best talented team, but I just think, you know, that prayer had a lot to do with it.
Right. You know, I was sitting here just listening to you, and I was thinking about I was fortunate enough to get honored with this class of 24 of coaches that got milestones. And actually, my milestone came last season, but it came in the regional semifinals. And so they told me that I couldn't be honored this year because they didn't have enough time to get the plaques and stuff ready because the state tournament was the next week.
Right.
And so I got a chance to go back down there to the state tournament and be a part of that situation. And as I was writing these questions, you know, for you, I was thinking about something I could ask that a lot of people probably don't talk about, which is like, did you realize how many people you impact? I ran into J.D. Mayo.
J.D. Mayo, okay.
J.D. Mayo said something to me years ago that I live by. And he said, never underestimate the impact you have on kids.
Right.
So be careful what you say, what you do, because you don't know, because a lot of the things you hear back from these kids now are things you've forgotten about that they remind you that you said. You say, yeah, that was me. I said, right? Yeah. And so it's just amazing, man, in this journey of coaching and how you meet great people along the way. And every person that I've met that have given me a nugget or whatever it is, I always say their name.
Right.
I don't say I heard a coach say. I say their name. I say J.D. Mayo.
Yes, sir.
J.D. Mayo say. And I noticed that. And you said Coach Bishop on this and somebody Phil Hill on this. You know.
You got to give them. That's what it is, Coach. You know, I've been blessed to be around. That's why I'm saying it's just a blessing that my coaching tree or the people that I came up under, you know, was successful, and I guess that just helped me, you know, to get where I'm at. You know, I never say it's me. I just sponged and listened and took hold of it. Yeah.
The great Napoleon B. Lewis, principal of Lincoln High School, told us in a faculty meeting, and I still believe no one has gotten to where they are without the help of someone else.
That's right.
Nobody.
That's
Name
right.
one.
That's right.
They got where he is or she is without somebody else helping them along the way.
That's right, Coach.
All right, let me. Okay. All right, so before we run out of time here, I gotta ask these two questions here. I got to ask these questions here. First one is, and you kind of was hitting on it when you was talking about the tattoos. I was going to ask you about the culture of Lancaster basketball. What would you say the culture of Lancaster basketball is today? Because it's different than it was when you got there.
Yeah, it really is.
So that all goes to you and your staff and the kids that you've had the opportunity to coach. What would you say the culture is? If I came in as a coach and I want to work for you, what do I got to be able to do? I got to be able to do something.
Shoot, man. The culture links to basketball. Man, we just grind now. You know, I got a great group of coaches, man. They grinders. They good at specific areas. You know, I got a good range from my age, 50, you know, all the way down to 23. So basically, our culture is, man, we just want to put in the work, you know.
Okay, and ain't afraid to work.
And ain't afraid to work. You know, my thing is, I learned this from Coach Humphrey. You can't coach watching the clock.
Right.
Or you can't coach ready to go. You know,
Right.
so you got to be really all in with it. So basically, our culture is, man, we just want to work hard, man, every day. Just work hard every day and trust your work.
And a testament of that is a guy like Wade.
Yes, sir.
Man, every time I watch him, I never watch him and not think about when I watched him play for you.
Yes.
Because he is the same tenacious, go get it. I don't care how big you are,
Right.
how fast you are, and what they say about you.
Right.
You still going to have to deal with Mr. Wade.
Wade Taylor, but, you know, I don't know if people know his dad.
Yeah,
You know,
I do.
Yeah, his dad was a bad boy too. You
Yeah,
know,
I
and
know
you
him.
know, and his genetics, you
Yeah.
know. But Wade, man, he's a special player, man. Great kid, man. I mean, awesome kid. I remember us losing in the regional semifinals, man. The Lone Star, and man, we all distraught. We had a pretty good team. Wade was a sophomore at the time, so we go back to the hotel. He's down in the lobby, emailing his work in for the next day. And I'm like, that is awesome to me because the world has stopped to everybody else. You know, we just lost. We distraught, you know, and he was too, but he still was
Mindful enough
to still email his work in to his teachers. He had some work to turn in. So I say this kid is special, man, because I you know what I mean? I don't think I had to do that, you know.
I'm thinking about all the kids that I've seen play in the SEC. And I haven't seen anybody his size dominate the SEC like he has.
Well,
because I coached 3 of those McDonald All-Americans for Kentucky,
Yes.
but I've seen him dismantle Kentucky twice.
yes. But that's just Wade, you know. People don't know that North Carolina, they came to the school to recruit Wade. And it wasn't because he wasn't even on their radar. But what happened was in the summer they had a guard that they was really, really high on, and they was recruiting him. And Wade played against him. He couldn't even get the ball up the floor.
Because Wade played defense. People don't know that too.
Right. Well, that's what you do at Lancaster anyway. We play defense. but the guard that they was really, really high on and was recruiting, he couldn't even get the ball up the floor against Wade. So the assistant coach, the legendary assistant coach at North Carolina came and he said, I know we might not recruit you, but I just got to come visit you. You know what I'm saying? And that was big for his recruitment too, because when we know when college coaches come, we put it out on social media and stuff like that. And it was just a blessing that A&M got him, man. They got a.
He was a good guy though.
Yeah, he really is. I like Buzz.
I like Buzz.
I love Buzz.
Been loving him for a long time. If Buzz would walk in here right now and see us, he gonna stop.
Yes, sir.
And say, okay, I'm coming and talk to them.
Yes, sir.
Y'all, I know we got a meeting over here at 12, but I'm finna talk to them.
Yeah.
You know,
But
that's
Buzz,
kinda
boy,
guy
he spit some gems too, man.
Oh, yes, he
but
does.
But you got to really pay attention.
Yeah, you got to be
focused. Because he's going to take you up there and back and up there, so you got to really focus. But I love Buzz. He does a great job.
He was one of those guys that when I was coaching, I liked what he was doing. And he was at Marquette at the time, and every year I always take my coaches on a coaches retreat before the season starts, so we can get all of our ducks in a row, get rejuvenated, ready to go, And so we went to Marquette, and when we get there, I called him. I said, Coach, we just landed, so are y'all working out now? Do we come right over to the school? What do we do? He said, Coach, we're not even in Milwaukee. We're in Racine. I said, well, how far Racine? He said, it's about an hour drive. He said, y'all come on down. We get ready to start practice here in a little bit. Y'all come on down. I said, okay. So we drive down to Racine. They in one of the oldest colleges probably in the history of the world. When I say old, damp, wooden backboards, no breakaway rims. I said, man, you coach at Marquette, and this is where y'all practicing? You couldn't have found a better gym than this? He said, nah, Coach, what I do is, before we get started, this is training camp, I break them all the way down. We go to the dormitories, stay. We go to the calves and eat. I want them to see the worst of the worst. We practice in these gyms where some of the rims are a little bent because they no breakaway goes. And then I build them back up. And I'm like, I like that. I like that. So we come back to Milwaukee that same night because that was the last day of that little training camp. And then he take them to like a 5-star restaurant, feed them. Now it's back to business. Yeah, but he didn't broke them down because you stand in the dorm. It's cold in there, damp, and the gym was horrible. I mean, but it was worse than the Madison gyms back in the day with the drains.
The Lincoln gym, the hot gym.
Yeah, the hot gym. All of that stuff. No glass backboards.
Right. But he had a message. What he was trying to do is really trying to, he was trying to get their mind right.
Okay, but before we shut this program down today, I got to ask you about your jump up to 6A.
Wow.
You're moving from 5A to 6A. Not to say 5A was easy, because 5A, the way district y'all played in, was not easy. But you jump into the District of Doom.
Wow.
Cedar Hill, DeSoto, Duncanville, the two Mesquites, the Waxahachie, and Skyline. Man.
It's I try not to think about it, while we was while we was trying to make this run, but that definitely was the motivation, man. We better go ahead and win it now, because we finna move into a district, man, where we gonna have to battle every night.
Every night,
and it's gonna be good. I think Lancaster basketball, we'll be ready.
I think so too.
Yeah, we'll be ready. We'll be up for it. We ain't got no choice.
Right.
But at the end of the day, it's gonna be great for the community. It's gonna be great for our fans. They get a chance to watch some good basketball. Great coaches. PV. You got Coach Corey over at Waxahachie, Chisholm at Cedar Hill. You got Des Willingham at Skyline with his pedigree. The two Mesquite schools, they're not bad neither.
Right.
So
they've been making the playoffs every year.
So it's gonna be a war night in and night out. It's just gonna be who kind of hit that stride. And
then I think also it's gonna be those unforeseeable things like an injury. Grade situation,
or sickness,
or something like that. I think
free throws. Anything. It's gonna be crazy. I think it's one of the top. I call it one of the top districts in the country.
I would think so.
I think so. Because you got to battle night in and night out. If you lose, you got to shake that off because you don't want that to carry over. And if you win, you got to shake it off because you got to. You got
another dude out there with a club in his hand. Trying to hit you in the head.
Yeah, so I think the 4 teams, I just want a slot. That's the thing,
Just to get in the dance.
Just to get in the dance. And I think the 4 teams that make it in the dance, they're going to have a great shot of.
That District 12 is going to be in trouble.
Yeah, they're going to be in
trouble. Because 11 6A is coming.
Yeah, it's coming, man.
And they might sweep everybody in District 12.
And basically what it is, Coach, I had a dose of it when we was in the Mansfield Legacy, Mansfield, Timberview, Summit, and every team was good.
Right, I remember that. Y'all had a team to represent the district in the state tournament for like 5-6 years in a row.
Yes. And Waxahachie at the time was like ranked number 5 in the country. we in Timberview, you know, they went on to win. Always stayed and won. So that district right there, Coach, and I had a dose of it. And once we got out of it, we did good in the playoffs, but once we got out of it and we moved to another district, you know, I was so happy, man, because it was a grind, man. Yeah. Every Tuesday, Friday.
Right. Every Tuesday and Friday. Ain't no
day off.
Ain't no everybody gonna get to play in this one.
No. No.
Well, man, this has been great, man. I wish we could have a part 2 to this conversation.
Yes, sir.
It's so much more you and I could talk about. But man, I'm so happy to have Coach Farron Douglas here on the Passion Project. Y'all follow us on all our social media and theirs. This airs on Monday, 7 p.m. on YouTube, and I just got to keep looking at this goal.
Yes, sir.
Because I was down there last year, and mine is bronze because I didn't win it all.
Hey, Coach, but I say when I coached against Coach Bacon, man, I say I never worried about the players on the floor. I always worried about the coach. I never worried about the players too much. I just looked down there and see who's coaching, man. So I was kind of always worried about the coach, man.
And it's funny, man. You said that last year. We coaching an all-star game.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And your team was loaded, boy. And I was like, and we only lost by one, I think.
1 point. Thank God, Run the Highland kind of turned it up to right there at the end. But yeah, man.
Right.
But it was awesome.
Well, this has been the Passion Project. I'm your host, Coach Richard Bacon. We'll see y'all next time.